Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing this important legislation to be considered before this committee. It is appropriate that we're having this debate against the backdrop of Pride Month, a time when people across the country are taking a positive stance against discrimination and violence towards LGBT individuals. In 2012, under the Obama administration, HUD finalized the Equal Access Rule, prohibiting discrimination against LGBT people in housing. As a result, housing providers that receive HUD funding must ensure that their programs are open to all eligible individuals and families, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or marital status. But recognizing that the 2012 rule did not adequately address discrimination faced by transgender individuals seeking access to shelters, the Obama administration expanded the Equal Access Rule in 2016 to ensure equal access to temporary emergency shelters in accordance with an individual's gender identity. And this is important because nearly 1/3 of transgender people will experience homelessness at some point in their lives. And prior to the 2016 rule, according to a 2015 study, only 30% of shelter providers across 4 states, including my own in Virginia, were willing to properly accommodate transgender women. Also prior to the rule, another survey found that roughly 70% of transgender individuals in homeless shelters experience mistreatment, including harassment, sexual or physical assault, and being kicked out because they were transgender. Since the rule has been enacted, purported concerns about safety and privacy of women have been found to be without merit. And Madam Chair, I would submit for the record the statement of the April 13th, 2018 National Consensus Statement of over 300 anti-sexual assault and domestic violence organizations in support of full and equal access for the transgender community. I would submit that for the record.
Without objection, such is the order.
Thank you. On May 22nd, HUD announced a proposal to essentially gut the 2016 shelter protections, allowing shelter providers to deny transgender people equal access to federally funded emergency services. And make no mistake, this is incredibly dangerous. The consequences of being turned away from shelter can be dire. Now, this announcement came as quite a surprise, considering it was only the day before that HUD Secretary Ben Carson told this committee he was not currently anticipating changing the rule. My legislation, the Ensuring Equal Access to Shelter Act, would block HUD from going forward with its plan to gut shelter protections, thereby ensuring transgender people across the access to HUD-funded shelter consistent with their gender identity. This bill is supported by the Center for American Progress, Corporations for Supportive Housing, the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, the National Women's Law Center, and the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. This is a sensible piece of legislation that will protect all Americans in the time that they need it most, and I hope my colleagues will support it. And with that, I will yield back, Madam Chair.